When did you first realize that you had the ability to communicate with the other side?
Well, it took a couple of years of me not being afraid of it or stubborn towards it, but I was 18 when I first realized that I had this amazing gift. And my mom had passed away about 3 years prior. She came to me about 2 nights later, and my whole world was just rocked with that. So 3 years down the road, I found myself going into a metaphysical shop, and they were giving a class on mediumship, and I walked in and I thought, oh God, get out, get out, get out. And before I could actually get out, someone stopped me and said, come over here, you look great, come over here. So your aura is just so big, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, scared nerves, I breathed through it. I sat down with somebody, a complete stranger, and within 5 minutes of not having any, template really of how to do this, I just went with my gut and with my intuition. And within 5 minutes, I brought through this woman's best friend, who was like a sister to her, and she died of a drug overdose. She had committed suicide.
Wow.
And the visual that I got was a table of prescription pills overflowing off the table. So for me, that was the first time I had actually ever seen this, and I didn't know what to make of it. So that was why it was good to have an actual professional in that environment tell me, okay, how would you interpret the overflow of pills? Okay, overflow, overdose. And in that moment when I said that, everything else clicked with the woman, and she just began to bawl, and it was very healing for her to hear from her friend.
And you had a challenging childhood. Tell us a little bit about your childhood.
I did, and I'm very actually grateful for what I experience now. And me and my mom have this connection together that I don't blame her for anything at this point. I know that it was part of her soul's contract, her agreement to be here. But the blessing in it was that she had the chance to bring me here to help people. And at the time, it didn't make any sense, but looking back in hindsight, it makes complete sense. But yes, I was the product of drug-addicted parents, that didn't know how to cohabitate together. And I was always being kidnapped by one of them. And my mom was very courageous one day and took me across the country to New York, where we lived in hiding for almost 3 years there. And that was a whole different chapter, chaos really, that was just all over the place, not knowing where home was going to be or my next meal was going to come from. It really took a lot of faith at a young age to trust the flow of the universe. But for a child, I didn't have the vocabulary, to actually call it the universe. For me, it was just this feeling and knowing that I was being protected. And that feeling and knowing now I identify as spirit. So it's really cool how over time everything kind of fits together.
So are we all connected to our loved ones on the other side to some degree?
To a very large degree, actually, yes.
And are there things that we can do to strengthen that connection or to be more aware of that connection?
I always call it having your inner dialogue with them, because they're always around us. They're always sort of waiting for us to make that breakthrough, to have that communication with them. So what it really takes is just an awareness of them. When we kind of slow our thoughts down and are aware of, okay, today is my mom's birthday and she's been gone for 5 years, and her name was Rose, and then all of a sudden you're driving to work that day and a car passes by with Rose on the license plate. They're always trying to get our attention, but it does take our intention to make that happen. So I say, of course, we all have the ability within ourselves, because we're all psychic. We all have the innate intuition. And when we allow ourselves to go with it and to connect to our own selves, which requires slowing down, being present, then everything else starts to emerge around us. And with spirit, when we give them the okay, they will, without a doubt, show us the evidence that they're there. And there's so many stories that I've written about and that I've experienced firsthand that validate this. So yes, they're always around us, and really it's a lot more simple than we make it out to be.
Can you give us one of the stories?
Okay. me see here. Recently, I was giving somebody a reading, and it was at a restaurant, believe it or not. And I was channeling a message, and I said, their sign to you is going to be a rainbow. And the context of the message was not to worry, just trust the flow of life, They're watching over you, they're supporting you from where they're at. So we're sitting there, and probably about 10 to 15 minutes go by, and where we're at in the restaurant, there's glass, and there's the light that shines through the glass that hits the floor in the perfect spectrum of a rainbow. That was probably about 6 feet wide on the floor, and we looked down, and I said, "Oh, well, there's your rainbow."
Wow.
And she, her mouth had dropped, and it was like chills, And so I always say that you will know that you're having that experience when your body reacts to it. So usually you will get the chills, or you'll have just like an aha moment that will sort of show you physically, yes, listen, you're experiencing this right now. But there have been so many experiences. For me personally, my mom, who's in spirit, her biggest sign to me is a white butterfly. I can't tell you how many times I'm either out, and not even just in nature, it could be like on a card, or it could be in an email, something very random and trivial, that I see it every day.
So there's like butterflies and animals and rainbows, and what are other, and kind of like license plates? Are there any other ways that?
Music is huge. Music is probably one of the larger ones because it works with vibration, and spirit is a high vibration, and we're all vibration, truly. But when we listen to a good song and it pulls our energy up and we feel good, our vibration is higher. We're able to connect to spirit more easily. So with a medium giving a reading, let's say, our job is to raise our vibration and to meet spirit sort of in the middle somewhere, to make that connection happen. And so music's always a good one because it's their way of manipulating electricity, manipulating sound waves, and radio waves, or just having your radio turned to a random station that's playing their favorite song that reminds you of them, or the song that you played at their service. It's remarkable how they're able to tap into that for us and give us that verification.
What do you most hope that people will take away from your book, Expect the Unexpected?
That we truly are all connected through time and space. I would also, on that same note, like for them to know it's not scary either. I think that sometimes with pop culture and media, there's been a picture painted of what this really looks like. That's not always accurate. Like I always tell people, I do not see them like you would see on The Sixth Sense with their bloody, with their heads cut off. It's not how it works for me. It's a much more joyous experience, and that's the whole point for them, is to paint a picture for us that they are in a beautiful space. And that there's no negativity there. There's no fear there. There's no sorrow there, depression there. Those are all things that we experience in the earth plane. So I would encourage them to, when reading it, they will probably already come to this epiphany on their own, but truly, that it's real, and that there's no such thing as death. That love is the biggest thing of all.
Love is the answer.
Love is the answer.
Yeah.